Hello everybody and welcome to another video for the channel. I've been away for a while because of electrical issues here at the house. I'm back and we're going to be tackling first a couple of things. One, um, the installation and configuration of MangoHud, okay, compared to my previous video, which you were required to have a 4K monitor, basically because of the text and the resolution and all that. So I'm doing this one at 1080. And two, Um, because of the changes on GNOME 47, I gotta explain other things in regards to the configuration of MangoHud. So if you're in Ubuntu 24.10, like in my case, or you're basically using GNOME 47 and up, you're gonna have an issue that we're gonna be tackling here. Along with that, I'm testing out ECFX, which is why you're hearing my voice um, more clear. Okay. And well, and doing a couple of things here with the stereo, so you actually end up with a stereo-like sound. But we're removing the noise. We're doing several things here at the same time. Okay, so in case you have a cheap microphone like I do, then you can use ECFX to enhance that for video recording and even work sessions, Zoom, Google Meet, whatever. So anyway, let's dive into MangoHud. So I'm gonna do it a little bit faster this time. You go to the GitHub, which I'm about to put in the description. You click on this green thing here. I'm assuming you don't have Git already on the site on your computer, so click download zip here. You decompress that baby, and you'll have a folder called MangoHud. Whatever you decompress it, with a capital M, capital H, okay? Inside that folder, there's gonna be a bash script called build.sh. Okay, it gives you all these commands. Let me just drag this here so you can actually see it better. You got pull, configure, build, etc., etc., etc. Okay, if you try to do a build pull, okay, and you don't have Git, it will tell you, hey, dude, you're missing Git. Okay, if you want to know everything that's missing, you do a build configure, and that will literally tell you you're missing this, you're missing that, blah blah blah. The first time, it will try to configure the whole thing out. You're gonna see a lot more stuff here. Let me just do a clean there so you can see what actually happens. So you get all this stuff, everything that's happening. Hey, because this, because of that, you're missing this, we require that. Everything that the actual compilation process needs, okay? So if you need more information about that, on the same documentation, you can actually go to dependencies. You can read more about what's missing, what is required, things that you got to install here and there. On Ubuntu, it was like one or two packages, and that's it. On Ubuntu 24.10, I think it was missing one or two packages. That's it. That's all. That actually tells you how to install them and everything, like what the name of the package is. Remember that on Ubuntu, you can just do a sudo apt install and the name of the package, and you're done. That's all. Okay, so once we've set up all the packages and everything that's required, and you run the configure and there's no issues, like it shows like this, or not, I mean, there could be warnings, but if there's no issues, then you can actually do the whole build and install. If you look at here, you have the build. If needed, runs configure and then builds the thing. And then you have the package, and you can the whole install process and so on and so forth. Because I already had it, I do a reinstall, and then that finishes the process of the whole compiling, preparing the package, and then putting on the proper um, folders where it would go. Okay. So yeah, I'm not gonna run that whole thing. I already did it just an hour ago, so that's why I got the latest of that. It will ask you for your password at the end so you can install it system-wide. Now, once you've installed MangoHud, there's different ways of, let's say, enabling MangoHud, okay, for specific apps. Now, if you're on GNOME 47, this will happen. If you install MangoHud and then you do what I do here in this case, which is I go to etc environment and I enable MangoHud here. You can see MangoHud capitalized equals 1. I enable that. That will enable MangoHud system-wide everywhere. Okay. I do that because I don't want to write for every Steam game the parameters MangoHud equals 1, MangoHud equals 1, like editing all of them out. Okay, so it's very annoying. So I do this, but if you do this, because on GNOME 47 they actually enable Vulkan for everything. If you open files or Nautilus, here's Nautilus, you get this crap here. Okay, so in order for you to not see that unless you're in a Steam app, MangoHud, and let's go to the configure. So we're gonna put the tilde here slash config MangoHud. Okay, let's clean this up. So you're in home.config slash MangoHud. Okay, and let's edit the MangoHud that's there. You enable this blacklist. So you can see that if I open Nautilus, I get this thing. Okay, and you're like, wow, that's horrible. But if we, let me remove the one, that's why you put it like that. If we set it so that the blacklist has the actual name of the process that's going to be blacklisted, if I run files again, which is the actual name of files is Nautilus, okay? Then you don't see that error there. You don't see that MangoHud running with Nautilus. Okay, so that's and this is comma separated. So you have like if Google Chrome does it, you can just do something like this. Okay, assuming that's the name of the executable file. So here are all the settings that I currently have for that look of MangoHud. Again, we're in the .config slash MangoHud, capital M, capital H. Okay. Um, we are going to go open Steam, and let's just wait for that puppy to open. Meanwhile, let me show you the shortcuts that I have here. Okay, so here are the shortcuts. And I made this list because, for example, this is a list in the documentation. You only see like a couple of shortcuts that you can use inside MangoHud. But here, by pressing right shift in one of these babies, things happen on the MangoHud layout. Okay, the one that we're gonna be using a lot is the reload MangoHud. Every time we change one of the settings, one of these settings. Okay, so let's open the library here. Let's open Counter-Strike, for example. And on Linux, you can, at least on Sword here, you can right click always on top, and then that window will always be on top of everything else. We're just gonna shrink it down here a little bit because I want to show you the MangoHud. I forgot that I made this smaller. Yeah, because the game is for 4K, and as you know, Counter-Strike sucks. Doesn't even understand that I changed the resolution. So let's go to, I don't know, Goat Simulator or something. And we can keep this settings here so we can change it on the fly. Okay, so there you go. So you can see the MangoHud on the, yeah, all right. Give me a second. 9,000 FPS. Wow, okay. Let me see. Okay. There we go. Sorry for that. Okay, let's do, by the way, when you can't uh, drag a window, just leave super press. Super is like the Windows button on Windows, but here it's called super. You leave super press and you can move the damn thing around. Okay, so we got all these settings here. You'll see that if I change something here, let's just disable GPU power and CPU power, I save it, okay? It immediately kicks in. You don't need to press the F4. The F4 is still there, but you don't need to press it. It automatically, MangoHud detects if something changed in the um, in the settings. So I can do this, and you can change it, and you can start like literally configuring your MangoHud live. Okay. So something to take into account. Here's the resolution. If we disable resolution, you can see that the resolution went away at the bottom of the screen of the MangoHud. If we enable it again, there you go. There's a font size here. We can put a 24, which is more or less related to a 1080. This is like a 1080 resolution that you can grow from 24 to around, I think it was 28. So there you go. So it doesn't also consume so much. I had the 48 because we were on a 4K monitor. So 48 is more or less nice on a 4K monitor. Okay. This FPS limit is for you to limit the FPS that gets rendered or shown there based on, by the way, 0 is unlimited, which is where it is. But if we go to the shortcuts, let's go to the shortcuts here. Okay. And when we read the shortcuts, it says here, let me see if I can find the one about changing the F. Here it is. So F1. If we press left shift plus F1, it will jump between each of the FPS limits here. So right now it's unlimited. Then the maximum will be 30. Then the maximum will be 60, 120, and 240. Okay. So we press. Let's test it right now. If we press, and you can see right now that we have a 269 for the XPK. If we press shift F1, we see now that our maximum is 30 FPS. If we do it again, it jumps to that 60 that we had there before. So remember, on our settings, we had one FPS limit that says 0, another one that said 30, then 60, then 120, and 240. Okay, so if we do that shift again, 120, we do it again, 240, and then we do it again, it's unlimited. It goes the unlimited one, which in this case, the maximum for the game or just the engine, I'm guessing, on the main menu is 270, I'm assuming. Maybe in force or something. So these are the settings. You can see all these settings, by the way. Let me just close the game here. All these settings, you can see them in the in the in the configuration here. So HUD configuration, if you scroll down, you're gonna see this table. That's where I got most of them in. Okay. Some of them work for the Steam Deck, some of them don't work for the desktop, like they actually tell you. Okay, actually tell you there, you can see. Some of them will help you for logging in statistical analysis, so you can see the trend for that specific game. Okay, or you can just do the recording like I do it, so you can see the live trend too. Um, and they have a lot of information here. All right, if you're having NVIDIA, there's some settings for that. If you're having AMD, there's some settings for that. If you have a CPU and the CPU needs to do certain things, like if you execute this here, the game again, and let's look at the, well, actually, the GPU and CPU are actually showing, at least on the 2410, on the 2404, I had to do some changes at the CPU level, which the documentation actually has, so we would be able to see the watt that's being used by the CPU. You can see the CPU is not using almost nothing, so it's very low, low there. By the way, it's low because I disabled the boost for Intel. If we enable that boost, you're gonna see that it's gonna go up, and the watt is also gonna go up, but it's a waste of power because you can see that the FPS is almost the same. So that's why I disable it, because most games actually use more the GPU. There are exceptions, but most games actually use more the CPU than the actual CPU, especially if the CPU is so high as this one. So there's no real advantage except for 1 or 2 FPS. I think I did a video about that before. So that's that. Um, the actual other settings here, you can see that reset FPS metrics is very useful when you want to maintain in real average uh, FPS. So I'm gonna show you. So let's say you start a game. You start the game and the intro boosts a lot, like you're seeing here. You see them getting to 10,000 FPS on the 97 percentile there, and the average ends up having that inside of it. So if you go to the documentation or the shortcuts here, it says here by pressing right shift in F9, we can reset the FPS metrics. Okay, so right shift and F9 should reset the average here. So it uses the default that's using right now. So see, now we got a more realistic average FPS. This is what I use when we are actually measuring the in-game without the main menu effect and all that. So the in-game, and this is also useful when sometimes the in-game, like in Counter-Strike for some reason, you have a lower FPS there, and that affects your average FPS in-game. Uh, but also the opposite happens. So things to take into consideration, including if you wanted to do what I'm doing, which is not boost the CPU, testing what the average would be in a, I don't know, in a 2 minute, 3 minute lifespan there versus having the boost enabled. So you can see the difference during a 2 3 minute time interval between having the CPU boosted and not having the CPU boosted in regards to the total FPS, maximum FPS average value. So there's others that are here that you can just um, read along. I'm just gonna put it like this, so you can just take a picture or whatever. These are the ones that I was able to collect. So again, you press right shift and you can do any of these ones, and they do certain things. Here, for example, this F1 and the F2. Let me show you what they do. This is for the people that actually like the layout to be different, and actually the settings inside of it to also be different. So let's do an right shift F10. It went away. I do it again. It goes like that. I do it again. You can see it at the top. That's how I had it before. And I do it again. Then now we have it on this. If we do shift F11, right shift, then you can see that it changes the position. See? Just in case. This is useful in case you want to show specific things about the game. And yeah, okay. That's shift, right shift F11. And there's others like shift, left shift F1, F2. It does a recording for the login. Uh, you know, 4. If you do shift F2, okay, and you leave it running, and then you press again, you see this thing at the bottom that tells you the average. Pretty cool. So it tells you the average during that recording gameplay. Okay. So if I were playing, and let's do it right now, and I got my MangoHud over there, super huge by the way. Okay, and we're in the game, and wow, at 1080, it looks horrible. At least for me, because I got a 4K monitor. So, by the way, the game is not moving because my daughter was playing with it with a PlayStation controller, so that's why I can't move here. Okay, but we can at least record. So if I wanted to record this session, I would just press Shift F2. You can see at the top right, there's a recording red circle. Basically, just telling you that MangoHud is actually recording, and we can just do some crazy. What the hell? Yeah, okay. Okay, we can do something like that, and then we can press Shift F2 again, and you can see my average during that recording was 198 with a top of 268, lowest of 71, duration of the recording was 20 seconds, and blah blah blah. That's pretty cool. So I think the video just covers, let me close this here, just cover how to install MangoHud. Again, all the documentation is here, plus the required tools that you can also see here. Once you've compiled it yourself, you can see where the settings are, um, or the parameters that you can use are here, also in the documentation. Also in the documentation, where there it is. And it actually tells you where things are. So this is literally where I am. Okay, so I'm actually in this specific one right now, in this specific, and that's where I put all this in there. Okay, plus a blacklist, like because I didn't want the MangoHud to actually load here. And well, hope you liked the video. Hope you can actually read it. Please leave comments because remember that I follow whatever you guys comment, so I can do testing for specific games. I got some other pending videos that I gotta do today, so we can just kill them all today. For the ones that wanted me to test, like Battlefield 1 on online, all other things that everybody asked there. But at least you should be able to read this on a 1080 monitor, hopefully. And my audio quality should be good based on thanks to EC effects. And yeah, that's it. So if I missed something, I can just put it on the comments on the description below. Test it yourself. Let me know how your experience for compiling MangoHut and configuring MangoHut goes. Okay, and here are all my settings. At least the settings that I have here, so it looks the specific way that I wanted it to look like. Thank you and take care. Big hugs. Bye.